On this week's episode, we have a new co-host. Hello and welcome to Safety Update with Sam. I, of course, am Sam. This is my new co-host, Sophie. You want to say hi, Sophie, to the camera, to the people, to all the fans out there? Nope. Okay. So nope. Sophie's done. Okay. Okay. No more Sophie. We just made an executive decision. I don't think she's gonna work out. I think she's more interested in chasing mice around the house. Anyways, so welcome to Safety Update with Sam. I think we've already covered that, but you might be saying, hey man, I think you're a little backwards today. You are not wrong. I have really kind of revamped my studio, got a new computer, and I said, you know what I really need is I need to redo everything. And when all was said and done with redoing everything, I basically just flipped everything. So instead of my computer being over here, now it's over here. But other than that, everything's pretty much the way it was. So anyways, I want to talk real quick. There's two really kind of topics I want to talk about today. And one of them is, I cover this in orientation all the time, every time, okay? And if you've gone through orientation when I've led it, you have heard this, but some of you haven't gone through orientation when I led it, so this might be news to you, okay? So I just want to get it out there, let you all know so we're all on the same page here. Okay. When you get a DOT inspection, when you get stopped by a DOT officer, anything like that, they do an inspection on you, and you get a violation on that inspection, but the DOT officer says, hey man, I'm going to be real nice to you today. Here's a warning. And you go, gee, thanks officer, appreciate the warning. No, okay? If he wrote a violation on that inspection, that's a violation, okay? There's really no way around it. Now, you might not have to pay a ticket, you might not have a fine associated with it, but it still goes down as a violation, okay? Like I said, there's been some confusion about that because I get, I shouldn't say a lot, but I've gotten some inspections lately, and the drivers have almost seemed, I don't want to say chipper, but kind of like more upbeat and saying, hey, you're going to see a violation on there, but don't worry, just a warning. And then I got to go back to them and say, hey, guess what? It's still a violation, okay? So there are no warnings out there. In fact, warnings are the worst. And this is kind of a hot topic amongst us safety folks. And yes, there are a small group of us that talk out there and we're in safety. And no, we're not complete nerds. Some of them are, not me. Anyways, but the warnings are kind of becoming prevalent amongst DOT officers because here's the biggest caveat, okay? It is incredibly difficult to fight a warning. So if you get a violation and you get, a citation for that, you get a fine, you get an actual ticket for that, and you want to try and fight that and prove that that was given wrongfully, there is a system out there that the FMCSA has set up. It's called the data queue system. And what guys like me, or really anybody who's got the login, so guys like me can go into that and fight the ticket, or at least try to fight the ticket. A lot of times they say, no, not going to do it. But there have been times that I've gotten some violations overturned because of various degrees of whatever, just because I'm just that good. But there's a data queue program. However, if the officer gives you a warning, then that's technically not a ticket. And so most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, that doesn't show up in the data queue program, because what you do is you go into the data queue program, you type in the violation, it pops up on the screen, you say, do you want to fight this? And you go, yeah, I want to fight that. But when you get a warning, that usually does not appear, okay? That the inspection doesn't appear in the system because it was never like a true or like a true violation warning, let's try it again. It wasn't a true ticket, okay? So it's not like you have anything to fight because, hey, it just was a warning. It wasn't anything. But in reality, those violations on those warnings still go against our CSA report, okay? So I just want you all to be very aware that even if you get a warning, but there's still a violation on the inspection, you got a violation. So there's just no other way to put that, okay? You got a violation. We got to be careful, okay? It has been, I partially blame myself because I've said out loud at a meeting one time, hey, we're doing pretty good with these inspections. And then the hammer dropped, okay? All of a sudden now, we're not doing great, guys. I still get a couple inspections in with no violations, but guys, I am getting a lot of violations here lately. And I don't know if it's been a full moon or what's going on, but we gotta be careful out there, okay? The more violations we get, the higher our CSA score goes up. The higher our CSA score goes, the more likely FMCSA is gonna wanna come in and do an audit of the company. And not just of the company, but of the drivers as well, okay? Now that might not be scary to you, but it's not a pleasant experience for guys like me and for the company, okay? That means they come in with a microscope and they look at everything, okay? And we're trying not to do that. Not because we have anything to hide. We're a pretty safe company. You guys do an all right job out there, but we really need to make sure that we are watching. Our speed is one thing, okay? Speed it, stop it, okay? We're going way too fast. We need to also make sure we're paying attention around us to signs, okay? We've had a couple really goofy violations because we just weren't paying attention, okay? These are the big things that you need to really watch out for. Let's knock it off with the violations, okay? I'm kind of tired of putting them in because every time I get an inspection in, I have to input into our system. I'm really tired of writing in violations, okay? Let's stop it. Do your pre-trips. Watch your speed. Make sure you're aware of your surroundings. You do that, you're going to be doing all right, okay? I can almost guarantee it. So, anyways, okay, now let's get on to the second topic I want to talk about today. And for that, we're going to watch some dash cam. Okay, so is it weird? It feels weird to be watching like dash cam this way here, but we'll get used to it. And yes, I understand that, my wood background there is a little darker in some areas than not, but hey, it's still better than that bright white background I had with that like electrical outlet behind my head that everyone kept saying, are you gonna move? Are you gonna cover it up? Whatever. So anyways, but I don't even have the full studio set up yet. If you notice, we're missing the Meiborg picture. We'll get that back up next week, don't worry. But anyways, okay, so dash cam. Here's the other big thing, and a lot of you probably already know this. Some of you I might be giving you some news. Cool. Right now in the fall here, we are in what is kind of known, especially up in the Midwest here, but in other areas as well, we are in what is called the rut, okay? And if you know anything about hunting, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't know anything about hunting, what the rut is it's basically, I don't know how to be exactly PC about this, but basically male animals are being aggressive and looking for companionship, something like that. So what that means basically to us here is there's going to be deer running around like crazy, okay? The male deer are chasing the female deer, and they really don't care what stands in their way. So we need to be on our guard about that. So let's take a look at some dash cam. Now, let me forewarn you about this dash cam. Obviously, you probably know what we're going to watch. Shouldn't be any surprise to you. But I'm just going to let you know there is an animal killed in this dash cam. So if you're squeamish or you don't like that kind of stuff, you might just want to skip over or close your eyes here. So anyways, here we are. Very typical setting. Interstate at night. Everyone has done this, okay? And so we'll just hit play here. Nothing going on. We got a sign on the right-hand side. We're reading that sign because we're paying attention to signs, right? And all of a sudden, boom. A deer comes out of nowhere, and then we hit it. And now, two things with this thing. Obviously, one, you never like to see deer go out this way. Now, I'm a hunter. If you ever want to make sure you're in a spot where you're not going to hit deer, come around my deer stand come hunting season, because they're nowhere to be found. But, as hunters, we like animals to be, harvested ethically. So it's always kind of a bad deal when you just see one get plowed into. It's not good. But two, this does some pretty good damage to the trucks. We got bumpers we got to fix usually hood pieces are cracked. So it's a simple deer hit can be upwards of 10 grand when all is said and done to get everything fixed and back on the road the way we like it. So, the safety guy in me wants to say, you got to watch out, like make sure you're being careful. But as you can see in a video like this, your headlights only go so far. And as you can see, when it comes up here, you really have zero reaction time. That deer is trying his hardest to get across the road and comes up just a bit short. Again, this is in the case at night, especially even during the day. I mean, these deer are running out at all times. Always got to be searching back and forth. Always got to be looking back and forth. The other big thing though, when it comes to stuff like this, and this upsets some people when you say it, but it's 100% true. Don't swerve. Okay, you know this, I know this, but reactions sometimes take the best of us, and we go deer, and we turn the wheel, or we slam on the brakes, like in Tommy Boy when the deer woke up in his back seat. That's a different scenario. If a deer wakes up in your bunk, you should probably get out of the truck. Anyways, but honestly, the safest thing to do is to hit the deer, okay? Without swerving, without slamming on your brakes, because we've seen, I've seen dash cam video of a guy slamming on his brakes to avoid a deer, load shift, boom, right through the front of the trailer. We swerved to hit the deer. All of a sudden now our vehicle becomes unstable. We could roll that thing. If you do encounter a deer, hang tight, go straight, and hit it, okay? That's the safest thing you could possibly do in your vehicle. But be aware, we're in the rut right now, right here in the Midwest. So there's gonna be deer running around. Keep your head in a swivel. Try your best to see them as soon as you can. But if there's no avoiding it, hit it, okay? Don't swerve. Don't slam on the brakes, okay? I know it sounds mean, but that's what you got to do. In a car, truck, whatever. So anyways, that's what I got. Like I said, next week we'll have the studio will be kind of back to normal. I'll have the picture back here and everything. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you know exactly how to reach me. Feel free to do that. Swing by my office, whatever. But until next time, like we saw in this video here, this is why I always say it. Make sure that when you're out there, you drive safe.